Peace. My name is Julius Mitchell Bay, aka Juju Starchild, aka Baba Juju, aka Chef Juju. I got a lot of AKs because my Venus is in Gemini. I wanted to make this video today about truly loving yourself and truly believing in the course of life that you can take to know that life is just a beautiful journey. We go through so many different paradigms of existence, whether it's homelessness, whether it's alcoholism, whether it's drug addiction, whether it's wanting to lose weight, whether it's wanting to have a better job, whether it's wanting to have a better relationship. We go through so many different paradigms of life as human beings. And the most important thing is to love yourself. There's so many different reasons and ways and influences out here that give us the energy of, and you can never look at your condition, you can never look at the things that you experience and base them on, number one, what anybody else is doing, but number two, based on what you think you might be doing. We all have a subconscious mind. And as we go through life, there's certain energies, thoughts, experiences that go into our subconscious that create a reality of not really being in tune with our highest divine self, which is God, if you want to call it God, or the source, if you want to call it the source, or whatever you want to call it that exists, that's neither male nor female, but just the totality of all things that exist within this plane and other planes. Not to get all deep, but knowing that you're a representative of that, knowing that you are here to represent the divine love that was created for what we conceive as time ever began. And this is my first official real video, and I'm only going to manifest it now that these videos are going to get better. The quality is going to get better. The people that I reach is going to get vast and massive. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, brown, purple, green, yellow. All of these things matter to each and every person equally. I went through so many different paradigms of life just as a background. One thing I've realized is, like, no matter what your skin color is, no matter what your race is, no matter what you may consider yourself, the universe doesn't look at you like that. The universe just looks at you as a representation of itself, manifested in a physical form, that it can look back and reflect and say, okay, let me put these puzzle pieces together for this individual's life. Whether you are a KKK member that hates black people and niggas, or if you're a peace hippie, you know, I love everybody, everybody should get along. Whether you're gay and, you know, flamboyantly gay, dancing in the club, you know, doing your thing, or if you're a staunch Christian that's against homosexuality, and I don't believe in that because it's wrong and it goes against nature. All of these belief systems that each and every human being have are only based on our experiences. And not only the experiences that we have in this physical life, but the experiences that we experience on a higher plane, when our soul reincarnates into who we become, so that we can experience things to ascend. It's often funny, like when I see people get mad, this is one thing I've always said. It's like when people get mad about the stuff that is disagreeable to them, or that they may deem as being negative or wrong or whatever the case may be. It's always funny that after the rage comes out, after the anger comes out, which, stems from, on a deeper level, stems from your root chakra, things that you have in the base of your spine that you've held on to, that may have happened to you, or whatever the case may be, just certain thought processes that you hold in the base of your spine. So then after that's all said and done, and people express their anger, well, I hate homosexuals, how can they be gay, how can this happen, that's just so against God, and so against this. For that brief, I'll say 20 seconds, you're able to think. You're able to actually sit there and be like, and then wait for a response. So in that space of thinking, what is going through your own mind? Do you really believe in what you're saying, or are you just trying to find something else to cater to your beliefs and cater to how you feel? It's like when you meet somebody for the first time. You don't know them, but you're cordial. I mean, most people, you got people out here that are just assholes and, they're just mean as shit. But most people are pretty cordial. They say, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Or you might be walking down the street and you might meet somebody that's a murderer or a rapist or a pedophile. Had you known these things, how would you have treated that person with that prior knowledge? You would treat them differently, of course, right? But not having that prior knowledge, not really knowing what that person is or who they are or what they've been through, you're just being polite by just simply saying hi, or by a head nod, or by saying good morning, or by saying how are you, or by saying how's your day going. And life, in its purest essence, really should just be that simple. Like, it should just be that simple. You never know what somebody's experiencing or going through, or what they might have that you might not have experienced, but they're experiencing it. So that now that you might have this knowledge about it, what's the first thing you might do? You'll judge them. You'll look at them as being good, bad, right, wrong, evil, smart, whatever the case may be. Does that justify it? Does that do how you feel about someone else justify your actions and how you treat them? Why didn't it before? What if they knew stuff about you that they might disagree with or didn't like or didn't understand? Would that give them any justification? The answer is hell no. You can't judge nobody based on what your experiences are or what you think is right or what you think is wrong. In America, we have certain things that other countries consider totally forbidden and not right. It's like if you have a Christian that sits at a table with a Muslim, and that Christian is left-handed and they start eating with their left hand, that Muslim will look and be like, oh, like, you can't do that. That's not quote-unquote right. But at the end of the day, they don't know that there's people that are born with a left hand. And because it's based on your belief system, now all of a sudden it's wrong. But it's only based on your core belief system. So the ultimate thing is like to filter through and to be able to show that kindness and compassion to something outside of you that you might not understand. And that's where the definition of true love comes from. I remember Confucius, there was a quote that I read, and I'm going to paraphrase it and probably misquote it, but in essence, Confucius was pretty much saying, you know, you have different aspects of society, right? Just in your neighborhood. Look at this, or 4 apartments, or wherever you live at, whatever kind of living condition you have. You got 4 separate spaces, but they're all living in the same space. They're all cohabitating, to say, in the same space. So every day you come outside, you talk to your neighbor, you say, hey neighbor, how you doing? You're able to treat them with love and respect, just in an unconscious way. Now say if you knew your neighbor was cheating on his wife or beating his wife, or how would you view him? You would look at it in a totally different way. And I'm not condoning negative behavior. The only thing I'm saying is when you love yourself, it's like what Jesus said. It's like, love thyself and love others. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that's like the most simplest thing, but there's a multitude of lessons in that, because it's a reflection of how you treat yourself. Because what if they knew stuff about you that was considered to them wrong or not right, disrespectful, and all these other words that we put upon everything, you know, to try to define it to fit within our reality so it can make sense. And it's just a natural thing that the human brain does, is try to fit everything to try to make it make sense to you. But not everything, or not everyone is going to make sense. I'm sorry, I got allergy. Excuse me. Springtime is coming. But once you go through different things in life, you realize, like, man, you can't judge people. The only person you can judge is yourself. The more you focus on judging yourself in a positive way, life becomes so much more beautiful. You'll become so much more accepting. Every human being on this planet started off as a baby, as a child. You have no idea. We're so quick to judge adults as adults, but not realizing, like, there's certain things that happen and transpire throughout the course of that person's life that caused them to do the things that they've done. I think if human beings look at life more in that sense, rather than be so quick to judge, well, they're just a thug, they're just this, they're just a pedophile, they're just a murderer, they're just whatever. We all have suffered pain. Every religion has taught us that. That's why religions were created in the first place, is to alleviate the pain that we suffer on this planet. Whether it's the hope of a heaven, whether it's the hope of nirvana, enlightenment, whether it's the hope of being able to have samadhi, which is, you know, from the Hindu, whether it's the hope of paradise, which is from Islam. There's always this hope of alleviating the pain that we suffer on this planet as humans. So with that being said, we have to realize that all humans suffer. But the freedom from that suffering is acceptance first of your suffering, knowing that everybody suffers just like you. Every human body, when it comes to emotions, when it comes to feelings, are set up exactly the same. Now, there's different factors that factor in based on whether it's your astrological chart, based on your experiences, based on what is suppressed. But the correlating theme through all human existence is pain. 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 Whether it's pain of loss, whether it's pain of suffering in the sense of not having enough, or not believing in yourself enough, or not having love. Because everything needs to be loved. every living thing. As the birds fly early in the morning to go out and seek out worms and foods for their babies, that's love. As the ant goes out 24 hours a day almost, seeking out food for the queen, that's love. Everything in nature is love. Just as these plants and grass and flowers and trees all correlate to each other, even though they occupy the same space, they're able to absorb just enough water where they're not selfish to the next plant or to the next flower. That's love. We're the only creature that exists in creation that we love ourselves or even thinks about not loving ourselves for reasons that generally don't have nothing to do with ourselves. This is a falsehood, my friends. This is not nature in the sense of what nature does or how nature occurs for its own purpose and for its own growth and evolving. The earth is a living entity. We all are part of this experience together, being alive together, loving, and supposed to be nurturing each other just like plants nurture each other, just like animals nurture each other. Though the lion may go and kill the antelope, is it not out of love? When we were nomads and we used to travel, and it was cold as shit, did we not kill or destroy life out of love? So love can't be compartmentalized in the sense of what you just experience for you and not base it upon how it is being treated within others. However you love yourself, however you love others, is always going to be a reflection of how you love yourself. That's what I meant to say. So if you're not willing to accept any paradigm of anyone's life, and it's levels, it's so many different levels. It's levels, man. It's not gonna happen overnight. You might have had shit that happened to you. I totally understand that. I've been through a lot of things I'm not gonna share naturally on this video. That's for a later time. But you go through so many things personally that will have you to be like, well, I shouldn't love this person. Hatred can never be cured by hatred. It's like the old phrase, you cannot fight fire with fire. You have to fight fire with water. Period. There's a documentary that they showed a while ago on A&E, and it inspired the shit out of me, about these women that were victims of rape. And they were able to come to the people that did these horrible deeds to them and forgive them. Now, it takes different levels. And not everybody's the same, and I'm not trying to, take away from the hurt or pain or anything that people suffer. Because all your suffering is valid. All your pain is valid. And whenever you're comfortable to let go and release that pain through love, depends on how you feel. And I'm not, judging anyone in that sense. But the ultimate thing is divine love. Divine love. Not worldly love of reciprocation. Oh, I'm going to do for me and I'll do for you and now I love you. That's not love. That's just a simple reciprocation. Divine love is being able to accept everything that happens to you, everything that happens to someone else, accept people exactly how they are, without any judgment, without any opinion that arises from your own experiences, because your opinions are always just based on your experiences, and be able to smile through it all. Being able to smile through it all. There was a story of the Buddha that I heard. I forget which Buddha. I don't know if it was Gautama Buddha or which Buddha it was. But it was a funeral going on. And the Buddha was to the side. Everybody was weeping and mourning. He was just laughing, cracking up, laughing, just laughing. And people were like, how could you be laughing? It's such a sad occasion. Like, it's the death of a person. This person just died. And you over here laughing. So these birds over there fighting. I know y'all probably hear that. Yo, birds, they be getting it in. It's crazy. Birds, they be getting it in. Especially it's mating season. You probably like, that's my bitch, nigga. It's like, nah, I'm just playing. What was I saying? Oh, so he was at this funeral, and during the funeral session, he was laughing. Everybody's crying, hugging each other, mourning, as you know how funerals are. And one person came to him and was like, how dare you? Like, how dare you laugh? How dare you feel joy? And the Buddha looked at him like, but they're free now. They're free now. And the people, knowing the scriptures, knowing that they're Hindus probably at the time, knowing that they're Buddhists, knowing that this is all an illusion, were mourning as if that person wasn't free now. I love when the wind blows. And that's what life is, man. Life is like this one big journey that none of us really understand, and it's okay. None of us are going to always have the answers to nothing. The minute you think you do, you lost it. The only thing that you can do is use what works for you, and it doesn't harm anybody else, and it allows you to grow, and allows you to give more love. Because that's the ultimate thing, is to give more love, give more, just give more love. And the more that you experience that, it's like going back to that story. It's like the Buddha was saying how he enjoyed the person's life. And the memory is all we have of someone. You might not meet nobody. You might have somebody in your life, right? And then they disappear. You never talk to them again. But what do you live off of? You live off the memories. You might see something that reminds you of them and you'll start laughing. And that's life. Like, that's the beauty. That's the love. You might not see them for the rest of your life, but you can think about them. And that's where they stay alive, in your heart and in your mind, that you have and that you feel for them. So it's time for me to go back inside the house. So I just wanted to make this video, and I appreciate anyone that is watching this video. You can follow me on Instagram at JujuStarChild415. You can also follow me on Facebook at Julius Mitchell Bay. This is my first video, so I'm a little nervous and I'm a little awkward, but I will be making more and more videos each day. I hope that you subscribe to my channel. I love all of you equally. Love yourself equally. Peace.